right now on KMBC 9 First News.
Breaking news, members of the Missouri Senate vote to pass a controversial abortion bill overnight. What happens next?
Suspects on the run after a wild chase and crash in Kansas City, Missouri. Hear the reaction from witnesses at the scene. And
home values in the metro fall for the first time in 7 years. We're live in Johnson County with the reason behind that drop.
6 o'clock. Thanks for joining us. I'm Cody Holyoke. So we have a huge change when it comes to warm weather. It's also road work season, so just all kinds of fun for you today.
'Tis the season.
Yeah, a lot of men and women will be out there though doing that road work, so make sure to give them plenty of room. I always want to drop off some bottles of water.
Right, some ice.
Yeah, it's not going to be scorching, but it's a little early for this kind of heat. So those of us that have interests outside this afternoon, maybe you've been taking your kids out to the park or on a walk the last few days. Today might not be the day for that. I think it's going to be in the 90s this afternoon. It'll also be really windy as well. We're in the upper 60s this morning. We'll be in the 70s at 8 o'clock and near 80 at 10 o'clock this morning. And the wind will begin to pick up about 8, 9 o'clock. And then it'll be strongest this afternoon when we have all that sunshine. 66 degrees right now. We may get a few clouds between now and noon, kind of like what we got yesterday, and then they'll clear out and then we'll have sunshine for the rest of the day. It's already 70 downtown. Parkville, KCI is at 66. We're 68 degrees in Overland Park. 91 degrees for a high today. Our record high is 94. We'll be pretty close to that one, Rachel.
Wow, 91. Yikes. 6:01 right now. Taking a look at your first alert traffic. We mentioned all of that road work that we've been talking about. 435 eastbound. We mentioned yesterday that one lane was supposed to be closed on this exit ramp lanes right there. Those 2 lanes that allow you to take those exits. It was postponed. Now it's going to happen today. We had reached out to MoDOT. They said that they needed to get something else done. They got that done yesterday. 435 eastbound will have a lane closed today starting in about 30 minutes. Clay Como down to the stadiums just under 10 minutes and then 18 minutes downtown to KCI on I-29. Cody?
All right, Rachel, thank you. Breaking early this morning, we learned the Missouri Senate voted to pass a controversial abortion bill.
Now, that bill now moves back to the House for a vote later today. KMBC 9's Matt Evans is live. Matt, what does it all mean?
Well, Donna, after several hours of dramatic negotiations and debate in Jefferson City late last night into early this morning, the Missouri Senate at about 4 o'clock this morning passed a bill that would ban abortions in the state of Missouri at 8 weeks of pregnancy, which would be one of the strictest bans in the country. That vote was right down party lines. 24 Republicans voting for the bill, 10 Democrats voting against it. Under the legislation, doctors who perform abortions would face 5 to 15 years in prison if they violated that 8-week cutoff. The bill does allow for exemptions in cases of medical emergencies, but abortions in cases of rape or incest would not be allowed. Missouri is the latest to join a wave of Republican-led states to push for new restrictions in hopes a more conservative U.S. Supreme Court could overturn the Roe v. Wade decision that legalized abortion. The bill passed by the Senate this morning would also include an outright ban on all abortions except in cases of medical emergencies if the Supreme Court does overturn Roe v. Wade. Planned Parenthood was quick to react, saying the legislation is dangerous and extreme, but Republican Missouri Governor Mike Parson voiced his support for the legislation before the vote yesterday.
I am honored to lead a state standing here today with many of my colleagues and with so many others who are committed to standing up for those without a voice.
This bill puts politicians between women and their doctors when faced with unintended pregnancy, and that's not what the majority of Missourians want their government doing.
This bill now heads to the Republican-led House. They gavel in at 10 o'clock this morning for the final day of the legislative session in Jefferson City. Lawmakers will adjourn for good at 6 o'clock tonight. If the Missouri House does pass this bill, Governor Parson will likely sign it into law. But if it is signed into law, it will almost certainly face a legal challenge. Live in Kansas City this morning, Matt Evans, KMBC 9 News.
All right, and this, of course, all comes as Alabama's governor has signed the most stringent abortion bill in the nation. It bans all abortions except when a mother's health is at risk. As Jared Hill tells us in our Washington bureau, this case could go all the way to the Supreme Court.
So Republican lawmakers in Alabama are completely upfront with the fact that in their minds, this law is directly meant to challenge the nearly 50-year-old Supreme Court decision that legalizes abortions. Yesterday, Alabama's governor signed into law the nation's most restrictive abortion bill, setting the stage for a showdown in the Supreme Court. The Human Life Protection Act bans all abortions with the exception of when there's a serious health risk to the woman carrying. It joins a handful of other states restricting abortion rights this year. Georgia's governor, just last week in fact, signed into law the state's so-called fetal heartbeat bill.
I think because the composition of the Supreme Court has moved in a more conservative direction, states that are interested in more restrictive abortion laws are passing these laws in order to create potential test cases.
Now, Alabama's abortion law wouldn't go into effect until November, but there are already a number of pro-choice groups who've said that they are going to file lawsuits. Reporting in Washington, I'm Jared Hill.
And that law in Alabama makes exceptions for when the health of a woman carrying the child, as we said, is at risk. But there are no exceptions for rape or incest cases. Now, as we mentioned, the Missouri House will be in session to take up this bill. Matt said starting at 10 o'clock this morning, we'll have reaction from lawmakers about this bill in particular, plus how it differs from Kansas law. That's coming up at 6:30.
An armed robbery and assault sparked a high-speed police chase in Kansas City yesterday. Police had to call off the chase, but the man kept going before he crashed his car. Around 5:15 last night, we want to show you the scene at Choteau Traffic Way near 210 Highway. The man smashed into two cars at once, then ran off into the nearby woods.
He gets out of that car and he runs, just starts barreling. He runs all the way across, straight on down.
Officers brought in a canine to search for the man, but police haven't caught up with him yet. If you know anything about who or where he might be, call police.
Right now, there are still many questions after an SUV caught fire in East Kansas City. A man's body was found inside. This was breaking news here yesterday morning. It happened near 13th and Monroe. Police have yet to identify the victim, but we did talk to a woman who says it's her father. She says that this all happened near a house where he was living.
He didn't seem, anything out of the ordinary really, except for I didn't see him for, 3 days. I usually see him every day. I talk to him every day.
And it could be weeks before police really know what happened and whether foul play was involved. We have a crime alert right now out of Leavenworth. Police need your help to find a bank robber. This was yesterday at Citizens National on Delaware Street. Police tell us that the man on the right pulled, you can see there he's wearing a hoodie. He was also wearing a mask, pulled a gun, demanded money. He did get some. He took off on foot with cash. No one was hurt. Now the suspect is 5'9" with facial hair, at least 30 years old. If you think you know who that is, call police immediately.
A special ceremony in Independence honored law enforcement officers who made the ultimate sacrifice.
Whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Police Week.
Last night, a memorial service took place at police headquarters for Independence and Sugar Creek officers killed in the line of duty over the years. Local officers and family members of the fallen were there.
We want our families to know, and the families of those who've been lost to know that they're being honored and that they'll never be forgotten.
It is National Police Week. The memorial is held every year as a reminder of the risks these officers take and face every day. And we've seen those touching tributes throughout the metro and across the country.
And I like that it's
a
week and that we're seeing so much, because it is so important to remember that and to be able to say thank you if you see a police officer out there.
That's right. Want to check in with Nick real quick, talk about just the potentially record-setting or record-tying?
Yeah, we're going to be close to that. 94 is the record high for today. 91 is the forecast high. We're going to focus on the weekend here, because that could really have a big impact on your plans, graduation plans, sporting events, or just outside plans in general. There is a chance we see some showers and thunderstorms early in the morning, and then a drier stretch of weather in the afternoon. And then the chance of numerous showers and thunderstorms begins to go up Saturday evening and Saturday night. That should wrap up Sunday morning. So that would leave Sunday afternoon dry. It's those evening storms right now that pose a risk of severe weather, and that also includes the potential of flooding. Rachel.
Yeah, so Saturday, you really need to be weather aware and on the lookout. 6:09 right now, taking a look at your drive, your Thursday morning commute. So far, so good. Looking at your live drive times, K10 at K7 headed eastbound to 435 in Metcalf, 10 minutes right now. Want to remind you again, 435 eastbound will have a lane closure this morning, so we do anticipate to see some delays with that as that new configuration configuration is now in place. Want to take a look at I-70 with Johnny Rollins.
Yeah, Rachel, thanks for that. And as you mentioned earlier, you're supposed to do it yesterday and didn't get in there. We'll see today if that materializes. So inbound I-70. In the meantime, we're doing well. It is westbound coming to Blue Ridge Cutoff off to the left. Can't see it behind the trees. Decay, Arrowhead Stadium, the sports complex. And well, right now, everything's looking good. Someplace in here, report of a stalled car on I-70, but we have not been able to spot it. I think it's going to be on the shoulder of the road, maybe upstream a little bit. And obviously not a factor. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
All right, Johnny, thank you. New court filings are being revealed in the long legal dispute over the estate of late Royal star Yodana Ventura. He died in a car crash 2 years ago in the Dominican Republic. The latest filing tries to stop the MLB Players Union from giving a $65,000 royalty check to the IRS. Court records don't say if the Royals paid Ventura's estate more than $20 million remaining on his contract, but that could have to do with the status of a toxicology report, we're told, and whether or not those results might nullify any payment. Ventura owed more than $2.5 million on a bank loan when he passed. There's also a $696,000 claim for child support involving his young daughter. 6:10 right now. Home values in the Kansas City metro dropped from March to April. It's the first month-to-month drop we've seen in more than 4 years.
Okay, KMBC 9's Martin Augustine is live this morning. Taking a look at this, and Martin, can you answer the big question too? What's behind the drop, and should we be concerned?
First thing you have to keep in mind, Donna, is this is a month-to-month measurement of home values, and that tends to be a little more volatile than a longer-term study. But this analysis will show that the Kansas City real estate market is still pretty strong. It's analysis done by Zillow, an online real estate database, and it puts this month-to-month drop across the Kansas City metro at 0.2%. That's pretty small, making the median value of our homes here $192,900, meaning half the homes have more value, half the homes have less. Now, this dip in month-to-month home values is reflective of a national trend, with home values peaking in some of the largest home markets, mostly on the West Coast. Still, if you compare home values here in Kansas City from a year ago, the median value of our homes, well, they're up 8%, which is a really good thing. So what's the big deal in all of this? Well, it's because nationally, home values have a canary in the coal mine thing going on. If they start to dip, that can be a sign of a larger problem in the economy. So anytime there's a blip on that home value radar, it gets the attention of economists. It's very possible, too, though, in a few months, values could go back up and wipe out this worry. Reporting live in Prairie Village, Martin Augustine, KMBC 9 News.
All right, Martin, thank you. Coming up, the Trump administration is expected to unveil a new immigration plan today.
Yeah, we'll tell you what we know about this immigration overhaul and what critics say it doesn't address.
A helicopter goes down in the Hudson, right near the heart of New York City. We'll tell you how the pilot was pulled out alive.
And heartbreak in St. Louis for the St. Louis Blues, the controversial goal that has everyone talking.
Like heat will take us into the weekend, and then our attention turns towards the potential of showers and thunderstorms, even severe weather on not 1 but 2 days on the first alert 9-day. I'll show you those coming up. Coming up on 6/16, it's a muggy morning, and for the kids, it's going to feel like going to school in July. We're near 70 degrees at the bus stop this morning, 3 o'clock this afternoon. Lots of sunshine, 90 degrees. Record high for today is 94. We'll have south wind gusts at this time of up to 30 miles per hour. So this is going to bring all of that humid air up from the south, and we'll have strong south winds that'll continue for tomorrow as well, with very similar temperatures as what we have for this afternoon. And that's how I think we're going to end the week before we head into the weekend with a chance of thunderstorms.
6:16 right now, taking a look at your first alert traffic. Checking in all across the metro. Green for days, which is great news as we've been dealing with all kinds of delays recently. 14 minutes, 29 southbound Berry Road to downtown. 70 inbound looks great, and then 20 minutes K10 at K7 using I-35 to get to downtown. Let's take a look near the Bond Bridge with Johnny Rollins.
Coming in from the Northland, Rachel, everything looking good. Not seeing any problems at all. Traffic wide open still, as you see going away from us to the northeast corner of the downtown loop. No merging traffic from Levee Road. So with that and a very quiet start on the north side of the river, we'll declare that a pretty routine run right now. Johnny Rollins, News Chopper 9, back to you in the studio.
We'll take it, Johnny. Thank you. Happening today, the Trump administration is expected to unveil its proposed overhaul of the country's immigration system. The president is pitching what's called a merit-based point system for visas. We're told it would include a civics test and factor in age, English speaking ability, job offers, education, and skill levels. The plan, we're told, does not address the massive influx of migrants at the southern border. A solution for dreamers, low-skilled immigration, or what'll ever happen to the 11 million documented immigrants currently living in the U.S. White House says solutions to those issues would come later.
A helicopter pilot is okay after a terrifying crash in New York City. Take a look here. You'll see that chopper just spinning out of control there right into the Hudson River. The pilot had just taken off after refueling. Now, he was alone on the chopper when it lost altitude. After crashing, he was rescued by a passing ferry. And get this, his only injury, a cut on his hand. All right, that's it. Now, the NTSB is investigating, trying to figure out just what went wrong on the Hudson. But man,
crazy.
All right. Well, Florida woman, she's sick and tired of packages disappearing from her front porch, her apartment complex.
Yeah, so when she saw a man walking away with some packages, she confronted him.
Do you live here? Yeah. Because I got you on videotape stealing packages. So this is being recorded and the police are on their way. Put them down.
Okay, put her down.
Put them down right now.
Okay, all of this happened south of Orlando, Florida. The woman recording the video says about a month and a half ago, packages started vanishing from her front door. Saw this happening around the complex, so when she saw a package on her way home, she kept an eye on it.
And when I was driving out, it was missing and he had it. So I just turned around and parked the car and went after him.
Man dropped packages belonging to 3 people. He's still on the run this morning. Also this morning, St. Louis Blues are trying to shake off a tough loss to the San Jose Sharks in Game 3 of the Western Conference Finals.
Romano with a shot. That did not make it through. Now Nyquist drops it off. Score! Erik Karlsson wins it for the Sharks in overtime.
Sharks take 2-1 series lead with that controversial goal. Look really closely. Look at that. Blues challenged the ruling, saying that there was an illegal hand pass. She seemed kind of batted down there.
Is that who they
Yeah,
okay.
Kind of batted it down and passed it into the shot there, but the refs missed the call. 2 teams will meet again in Game 4 tomorrow night in St. Louis. The puck drops at 7. Has anybody checked on Neville Miller? That's my question, because he's a huge St. Louis Blues fan. Probably beside himself this morning.
Okay, wow.
7 o'clock.
Hand pass. Come on.
That looked like he,
Yeah, really just kind of
you know,
knocked it
a
down.
hockey game would not be a bad place to be in this summer like.
Yeah, it would be nice to be inside in the air conditioning today.
Yeah.
I bet you
Your
ACs are gonna turn on today. I mean, even the people that are hardy and don't turn that air conditioning on until like June 1st. I'm not gonna do it until June or July.
Fans counterclockwise. I had to switch all mine over.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so it blows the cool air down.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like ceiling fan? Ceiling fan? Or just, oh, all right. There we go. Capitol Federal City View cam. There in the plaza at the Sheraton Hotel. Temperature 66 degrees. No wind gusts yet, but it will be a windy day. We're going to see the winds gust up to about 30 miles per hour. 67 in Lee Summit, 67 in Olathe, near 70 in St. Joseph. It's going to be a humid day. You're probably going to notice that when you step outside. It's going to be like, ooh, it's a little on the muggy side for this morning. Capitol Federal City View cam doesn't show any patchy fog like yesterday, but it is possible, maybe just along the river, that we have a little bit of that. On your first alert day planner, stronger winds beginning at 9 o'clock and then lasting through 6 o'clock. So it'll be windy at Kauffman Stadium, 84 degrees at noon, and 90 at 3 o'clock. I think our high will be 91 degrees today here in Kansas City, 92 in Leavenworth, 91 in Lawrence, and near 90 in Lee Summit. And that'll be a humid 91 degrees. I'm showing kind of the big picture severe risk for Saturday because I want to emphasize that right now, the greatest threat of significant severe weather looks to be down in Texas within the enhanced risk, that orange color near Dallas. Kansas City, eastern Kansas, western half of Missouri is in the slight risk. And this is going to be, I think, for mainly Saturday evening and Saturday night. But Donna, there's still plenty of time for that risk location to change as well as the severity to change as well.
Okay, which means we'll be watching our apps, watching our weather team here. Okay, it's a phrase that you often hear, but in this case, it's accurate.
Yeah, we'll show you why this truck crash was truly a sticky situation. That's coming up.
625, hot, humid, summer-like conditions heading into the weekend. And Saturday in red here, there's a risk of severe weather right now that looks to be in the evening and Saturday night. And we'll probably have a few showers and storms early in the morning. My hope is we get a stretch of dry weather during Saturday afternoon. Cody.
Okay, Nick, thank you. A sticky situation really happened. Cause trouble on an interstate highway in Lake County, Indiana, outside Chicago. Here's why. A semi carrying 41,000 pounds of honey overturned after the truck's front axle broke. Parts of I-80 and I-94 were shut down for hours as the spill was slowly cleaned up. Thankfully, nobody was hurt. The Big Slick Charity Weekend is coming up June 7th and 8th.
Yeah, and all week we've been hearing some of the big names that are attending this year. They're trickling in. Well, yesterday we learned that KAB Smolder from ABC's Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the new ABC show Stumptown will be there. Actor Haley Joel Osment, CNN anchor Jake Tapper. They were all announced. And guess what? We're going to hear some new names tomorrow. Yeah, we'll announce more. 3 more celebrities will be joining Paul Rudd, David Koechner, Rob Riggle, Jason Sudeikis, and Eric Stonestreet at this big event.
Missouri senators debated through the night before passing a restrictive abortion bill while you were sleeping.
Next at 6:30, new reaction from lawmakers this morning and what makes Missouri's bill different from other bills. It's 6:26 right now.